Did you just buy a motorcycle and come to the same realization that everyone eventually comes to when the end of the month rolls around and they open their wallets to find it dustier than your old VHS collection? Probably. Otherwise, why are you here? Ah, right, it popped up on your YouTube feed when you were dumping up the John at the office to get away from the misery at the cubicle farm for a few sweet minutes. Nope. It's okay. I see how it is. While we're here together on the toilet, you might as well have a quick chat with me about saving some cash on motorcycles. You see, they're not the money-saving virtuosos that some people say they are. Sure, you might not have to pay to park them, and they do run a little bit more fuel efficient than the average sedan, but you've probably picked up one as a second vehicle, maybe assuming that splitting the mileage between a car and a bike would drive down the cost of both. I'm sorry to say, but you are wrong. At the very least, it'll take years for a motorcycle to pay for itself in savings alone. You'd probably need to ride the bike for like 400 years, but there are a few ways to save cash if you know how to do it. So today, I'm gonna do just that. No need to thank me, I do it because I love you. Let's start off with the fun one today. Modding your motorcycle is a great way to make it fit you better, sound nicer, or even handle a little bit better. But the question is, do you actually need to modify your bike? Sure, if it's quiet and you want it to be loud, you're gonna have to swap your exhaust out, but before you do, it's worth taking a look online of seeing if someone else has figured out a way to maybe drill out some of the baffling in your stock pipe or doing something more on the cheap. At the end of the day, an aftermarket pipe is just a slightly flashier and louder version of your stock exhaust, so if you can't live without the looks, drilling with the baffle out is usually a great alternative that doesn't cost you a dime. But how about the handling? Surely you need to swap to Öhlins and new fork oil, and you might as well add a steering damper and the shopping cart while you're at it too, right? Well, no. When's the last time you checked your suspension settings? Maybe your bike only has preload, but then you have no excuse not to set it up. From the factory, most motorcycles are sprung for a person about my size, 5'11", and about 160 to 170 pounds, so if you're under or over the stock settings, might be too harsh or too soft. A few clicks of preload can really change the way a bike handles because it means your rear end doesn't squat so much under your weight. If you got fully adjustable suspension, setting it up for your weight can completely alter the feeling of your motorcycle, especially if you bought it used and it's got the previous owner's settings. You don't need to mod your bike to make it feel better. A good setup might be all you need. And hell, just invest in some good tires and make sure they're pumped up to the right PSI. That'll do you wonders. But you know what's a nice mod that'll actually improve your riding experience? Rockform, my dude. They've got the best cases for your phone, so if you drop it on the ground, it doesn't shatter into a million pieces like those dreams you had of being an astronaut when you were a kid. Seriously, I wanted to be an astronaut when I was a kid. It's way harder to be an astronaut than anyone told me when I was 6 years old. Maybe they just want to crush my dreams, but it's way harder to be an astronaut. Also, my dad told me I needed to have perfect vision, and I can't see worth a damn, so obviously that wasn't gonna work out. Their cases have been drop tested from 6 feet, and which would you rather have break? Your $1,000 space rectangle or a case? Just saying. But the fun doesn't stop there. You can pick up one of their handlebar or stem mounts so you can have maps going while you ride. They've got tons of accessories to go with, like wireless chargers, sport rings, screen protectors, and more. Click the link down below and check out everything they've got to offer, and because I heard you liked saving money, I got this nice little discount just for you. Use the code YN25 to get 25% off your order so you can save money while you save money by protecting your phone with Rockform. Remember, code YN25 is 25% off your order. Number 2, doing basic maintenance yourself. I mentioned this a little bit yesterday in my video about things you should know before you start riding motorcycles, which you should definitely go and check out, by the way, but it's worth repeating again because it'll really save you a bunch of money in the long run. Let's say you need to get your oil changed and a new chain mounted up on your motorcycle. If your bike runs on 3.5 quarts, then you're looking at about $75 worth of oil and filters, and then a chain and sprocket kit, which ranges in price, but we'll call it an even $150. So that's $225 right there. But if you take it to the dealership, then you'll have to pay the tech the hourly rate, which here in Austin, Texas, where I live, is $125 an hour. The oil change will probably be rung up as 30 to 45 minutes, but let's assume the dealership in Greedy is call it a flat hour. Then another hour for the chain and sprockets, and suddenly that $225 turns into $475 plus tax because that's how math works. If you can do the work yourself, you'll save a ton. Also, it's not that tough. Sure, it might require some specialized tools like a chain breaker and a riveter, but once you have it, you can keep using them over and over again. Just buy a nice one so you don't have to replace it every time. It'll help having a service manual or a Haynes manual for your bike as well, so check online to see if you can find a physical copy or print out a PDF or have one electronically downloaded to your device. You can't write notes on your phone screen. Number 3, and while we're talking on the subject of maintenance, maintain your riding gear. Do you have a white textile jacket that's starting to brown? Have you heard of this wonderful new invention called soap? That's right, you can clean your motorcycle gear from your jacket to gloves, pants, boots, and even your helmet pads. For your jacket, just pop the pads out and toss that sucker right in the washing machine. You can even run it on delicate if you're worried about messing up your fancy Dainese jacket. It won't. I mean, it's rated for impacts with the asphalt, but some people worry about that stuff. If your jacket is leather and you can't remove the liner, then spot cleaning the inside with some soapy water will really help remove some of the stink. Same with gloves. For your boots, I'd honestly suggest tossing them in the washing machine too. Just take off any toe sliders or removable plastic protective parts that don't scuff off the washing machine. When it comes to helmet liner, I would check with the manufacturer or the little owner's manual it came with. Some of them are machine washable, others are hand wash only, some you just need to replace, but having a smelly helmet is not reason enough to go out and buy a new one. If you want a quick tip to keep some of the smells at bay, putting a scented dryer sheet in your kit while it's drying can help mask some of the worst odors. Not buying new riding gear every season will feel bad, but you will save some money. Now listen, let's say that the gear isn't salvageable. It happens, you'll probably end up spending a few $100s on replacement gear every year, but you can save yourself some cash simply by not buying the fanciest gear on the rack. This is another thing I mentioned recently, but price and safety are not directly correlated. Maybe they were back in the day, but now you can get a $300 helmet with the safety ratings of a Pista GP. It might not have the sick Rossi graphics on it, but it'll help keep the mushy bits in your noodle safe. Do you really need a climb adventure rally for $17,299? Or do you think you can maybe get away with a Tourmaster jacket for $200? There's nothing in that massively overpriced jacket that you're not going to be able to find in the cheaper one, or add with a few bucks worth of D3O or a Camelback. One money-saving hack if you're looking to ride in colder months is to pick up yourself some snowmobile gloves. They might be a bit bulkier, but they'll be just as warm as a motorcycle glove and half the price. And let's face it, winter motorcycle gloves all feel like crap anyway. One place you shouldn't be saving on your gear is by wearing work boots instead of motorcycle boots. Your Timberlands might have a steel toe, but it does not have any crush protection. That's not worth saving money on and risking shattered shins and ankles. Number 5, in keeping with our theme of being thrifty, is to not buy a crazy expensive motorcycle. Oh, I know, it's okay, calm down. You can still buy yourself a brand new R1 in a few years. They're not going anywhere. But if you still have to have a leader bike today, maybe consider picking up one pre-2009. They're still making way more power than you'll ever be able to use, handle better than you can, and cost less than a quarter of the price. Heck, you can probably find yourself some sweet deals on cross-plane R1s nowadays, but this doesn't just mean buy used over new. If you're thinking about buying a new motorcycle and you want a stupid hyper naked bike, because who wouldn't, maybe don't go straight for a brand new Super Duke. Those things start at $18,699, but you can get an MT10 for $12,999, and if you know where to look, you can score Jix's S1000 all day long for like $8,000, and then spend the $10,000 you saved on tasteless mods and Gixxer tattoos. Will it have the same character and level of tech? Nah, but will you need it? Also no. From personal experience, I can tell you that the MT10 and Gixxis handled better than a Duke that we tested and are still plenty fast enough to get you into serious trouble. A nice money-saving boon with a few lower tech bikes is that they're easier to work on. If you've got a NASA computer on your dashboard, you need a whole bunch of special tools to diagnose problems, but if you're working with a basic bike, you can probably just figure it out yourself. You can always get a fancy bike later down the road, but it's worth looking at the competition because you might be able to save a boatload of cash. And here's one for all the sport bike riding street Rossis out there. Stop riding around on super sport tires. Wait, did you feel that? It was the pained screams of millions of squids crying out at once. Here's the thing, you dingus, you don't need hyper sport rubber because you ride hard on the street. If your R6 has never seen a lap around a racetrack, you might just want to check out some sport touring tires instead. They'll handle perfectly fine on the street and last a whole lot longer than Supercourses. I know you're probably thinking that sport touring tires don't have the edge grip you really need to hit it at the track, but since you're spending more time complaining about it in the comment section than actually riding on the track, let me tell you, for your pace, you don't need super sticky rubber. If you're squaring off your tires, that means you're probably using the wrong compounds for your riding style, and that goes for any kind of motorcycle. If you're on a big-ass ADV and you keep wearing out the knobs on your fancy off-road tires, then maybe consider switching to a longer-lasting street tire, especially if the most dirt those knobs have seen was the gravel patch in the middle of the road that one time. Sometimes just being honest with yourself and admitting that you don't need the most expensive tires out there for your riding style is all you need to save hundreds of dollars a year. But don't buy Shinkos. Just don't do it. It's a bad idea. Last up today, store your motorcycle right. If you're in a place where the riding season has come to an end, have you winterized your motorcycle properly? That means raising it off the ground or putting some cardboard between the concrete and your tires. Did you top off the gas tank and put the bike on the tender? Did you put some stabilizer in the gas tank? Did you mouse-proof your bike or put a cover over it? All those things can prevent costly headaches when the riding season comes around and you have to waste time getting your bike back up and running. But it doesn't have to be just for long-term storage. If you park your bike outside, investing in a quality cover will help prevent sun damage, rust, bird poop, and more from damaging your bike on the day-to-day. And if you store it in a garage, a cover might still prevent you from having to wash it every time you pull it out because garages are pretty dusty. Spending a few minutes thinking about where your bike spends its nights might save you more than you think. Also invest in some security for your bike. I'm talking disc locks, trackers, chains, all that can ward off the odd thief who might be considering taking a pass for your ride. Fact: Beauty and the Beast was the first animated film to be nominated for Best Picture. It lost to Silence of the Lambs. Goodbye, Clarice.
Now, partner, I gotta tell you, it's real good seeing you here at the end of this here Yammie Noob video. It's me, Cowboy Yam, aka Yosemite Yam, back at it once again. And you click this video right over here. Do me a little solid, okay? You made it to the end of the video. Do me a little favor here. Click this video. Keep watching yourself some of this incredible Yammie Noob content. It's pretty good.